it's Jasmine, and today we're making bread, basic bread. Bread is usually made out of all-purpose flour. This makes it nice and soft. But if we only use white flour, all-purpose flour, it will not be as healthy if we use whole wheat. But if we only use whole wheat, it will be very lumpy and very tough. So today we're using both whole wheat and all-purpose flour. It will be nice and soft, but it will also be very healthy. So it's a win-win.
For the ingredients, you will need 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 1/4 cups of whole wheat, which is optional. You could use all-purpose flour for this as well. 1 1/2 cups of water, 1/2 cup of milk, 3 tablespoons of white granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, 3 tablespoons of oil or butter, and 2 tablespoons of dry yeast.
Let's get started. You'll need a small saucepan, and in the saucepan you want to add in your sugar, your salt, milk, and oil. And if you are using butter, it does not have to be melted. Alright, now let's get this over the heat.
Now you want to get a wooden spoon and just stir this constantly so that nothing burns. And you just want to keep this over heat until the sugar and salt is dissolved. If you're using butter, you want that to be melted as well.
And I think it's good. So let's turn off the heat. And then you want this to cool. So meanwhile, we're going to get working on our yeast.
Alright, now I've got some warm water here, which is about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to add our yeast into the water so that it can activate. And give the yeast a little stir.
Guys, my yeast has activated. As you can see, the top is nice and foamy. Now we're ready to put our bread together.
First, you want to mix together your flour so that you won't get a lump of whole wheat bread and a lump of all-purpose flour. You want to mix them all together, just slightly. It does not have to be perfect. Alright, now in a bowl, you want to add your activated yeast with the water.
Okay. The flour. And your cooled milk mixture. This should not be warmer than 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So just pour that in as well. We're gonna add this, put this on. And again, I have a dough hook here. And we're gonna just start eating this until it comes together. My dough has kneaded for 5 to 10 minutes. Now it's ready. So prepare a big bowl. We're gonna add in a little bit of oil into it. And then we're just gonna spread it around. This way, make sure that when your dough is rising in this, it doesn't stick. Now we're gonna take our dough out of the bowl. It should be sticky, but it shouldn't stick to your hand when you poke it. Right. And I'm just going to slightly shape it. So how I do it is I take both sides and then I fold it in. Then again. Okay, and if this is too sticky, you want to just dust the top with a little bit of flour. Right, now I'm just going to place my dough into my greased bowl, and I'm going to cover it. Alright, this is wrapped, and I'm going to leave it somewhere warm for it to rise until it doubles. It usually takes about half an hour or so. It depends on where you live and what the temperature is. Okay, my bread dough has rised. You can see it has definitely doubled in size, and it will bounce back if you poke it. So now we are going to flour our surface just a little bit. We're gonna dump our dough onto our floured surface. And before we shape this, you want to prepare 2 loaf pans. This makes 2 loaves. And we're just going to spray it with non-stick spray. Okay, and now we could shape our loaf. So sprinkle a little bit more flour. Now we're going to cut it in half with a serrated knife. Set one aside, and while we work on the first one, so I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more flour. We're going to just press it so that it flattens. You do not need a rolling pin for this because it should be nice and soft. Now I'm going to start rolling. So you want to roll this nice and tight. And what I'd like to do is when this starts oozing out, I like to fold this in a little bit so that you get an even and neat loaf. Alright, now grab one pan. You want to put the side with the seam on the bottom. Then we're going to let this rise. Alright, now we can work on our second loaf. Now that our 2 loaves are shaped, we are ready to let it rise for one last time. Meanwhile, preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So we are going to cover this with another layer of plastic wrap. Now that our dough has risen for the second time, as you can see it has doubled. It took about 15 minutes, and if you want you could brush on some egg wash or melted butter to give it a golden color, but I don't think that's necessary. So now we are going to bake at a preheated oven, which is at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 minutes. My bread has cooked. Midway about 15 minutes, I have covered it with a piece of foil so that the top doesn't burn. Now we could slice into it. You can see it has a brown bottom too. Alright, as you can see that this is not as brown as a actual whole wheat bread, but it's not as white as a white bread. So this is sort of in the middle. It tastes like a normal piece of bread, but it has a little bit of healthy touch to it. You could make sandwiches with this, eat it for breakfast, or really do anything with it. So this is my recipe for a basic bread. I hope you guys could try this out and like it. Thanks for watching and see you guys next time. Bye!